Hi, everybody. Welcome to the last session. And I hope you'll enjoy, and I hope we won't be too much in the way of your happy hour.
Indeed, I hope, welcome everybody. I hope you have the energy to stay here with us for this case study, which is the multi-brand
Microphone.
complexity. Oh, yes, my mic, sorry. Exactly. So the topic of our presentation is the multi-brand complexity for the German University of Digital Science, a German project we started with last year.
Yeah.
So let's say to me, Stefania Trabucchi, I'm a founder of Abstract Technology in Germany. So we are German-based with the headquarters in Italy. So we are a service provider of Open edX and in the projects. So we helped UDS, the University of Digital Science in Potsdam, to get started with this project, and we support customization, integration, and we are helping the client to grow.
Thanks. So I'm Tom Staubitz. I'm a professor at the German University of Digital Science. We are a very new university, brand new actually. We started with the first intake of students in April this year. And yeah, you will hear a lot more about that in the next couple of minutes. So basically, German UDS is a merge of two ideas. So this is basically our founders. We are a private university. We are a non-profit private university. We have a foundation that basically is below the whole thing. The two ideas were more like a hybrid idea. On the one side, that's why we also have this building in which we are residing. The other idea was a fully online university. So for now we have both. We have the building, but we are fully online. The building is mainly used for our internal purposes, for offices, studio, and other things, and also for conferences or summer schools and stuff like that. But for the regular study program, you never have to come there. You can. You're always welcome as a student, but you don't have to. And most of our students actually are also not able to get there because they live somewhere else. We offer, next to the study programs, also open courses. So there's actually a wide spectrum. I will come to that in a minute, of things that we're offering. And the online courses and also the study program, that's our bread and butter business. While the building in which we're residing is more like, I like to call it the confidence building, because it helps to build confidence. If you basically do everything from home and you try to build up a new brand, that sometimes looks a bit fishy, like a postbox company or something like that. So in that case, it really helps a lot, for example, to find investors or to, along with the accreditation process, being able to invite the accreditation committee to the building basically made the day, I would say. Otherwise, we never would have gotten that. I would have had to invite them into my living room. No way. So as I said, we're a non-profit, and we're fully state approved and accredited by the German Science Council and the basically whatever you need in Germany. Also accredited by Asin and the state of Brandenburg, and full university right now. And we are, with that, the first, and as far as I know at least, only German fully digital, fully online university. There are a couple of universities of applied sciences. There's a difference about that in Germany. Universities mostly think there's something better than the universities of applied sciences. I myself studied at the University of Applied Science. I think sometimes it's the other way around. But, there's a bit of this. We are better. So we are the only online, proper, full-fledged university in Germany.
Yeah, let's look which was our roles in the project. So basically, very quick, we as a Open edX provider, we started 2015. So we are a European verified development service provider for Open edX LMS. We are active contributor in the community, of course, since the foundation. So basically, our main role was to help UDS, the university, to shape their digital learning idea and stays side by side for this to reach this mission and this goal. So we believe as a company to be open, to lead with an open source solution, to be scalable, also as a person to get into the needs of the client, to be inclusive, learning breaks, educational barriers. So I think regarding the core challenge, I will hand it over again to Tom, the core challenges about the project.
So basically, of course, there's a technology aspect, but I would say in our case that was rather small. We have a technology background. We are basically where we come from. We ran our own MOOC platform 10 years for 10 years before we started with the German UDS. I don't know if you've been at one of the other talks I've given in, or we've given in the recent days. I'd like to say, well, most of the other, at least at the eMOOCs conference, while most of the others were universities that did MOOCs at some point of time, we basically started to do MOOCs and then became a university. So it actually was, the process was the other way around. So that wasn't a big thing. Basically, because we also had a lot of support, to be honest, that helped a lot. And if we had to do that on our own, set up the whole thing, in that setting, probably wouldn't have worked. So we're super happy that we had that support. The biggest issue for us was the administration part, bureaucracy part, getting the accreditation, appointing the professors. At one point, I think we made a German record. We have appointed 12 professors in one day. Normally, it takes about 2 years to appoint a professor in Germany. So that was quite some effort, and that actually worked out through with that, and now we can really start working. And our biggest challenge right now is the marketing, because now, as everything is running, not that we didn't know that before, but it really turns out that you really need to go out, do marketing, because otherwise you can set up the best system you have if students don't come, and we have to finance ourselves, so we don't get any state funding or anything like that. So basically, the students have to pay a fee, even if we are non-profit, but we need to cover our basic costs. And then, of course, as a part of that marketing, or as the result of that marketing, we need to grow. And this is basically what we set up to. So when we started the whole thing, we basically brought up everything, or set up everything in a way that we can easily scale. Because setting up everything like in a huge scale right now would be possible, but also quite expensive. So we need to start small. But we need to be able to scale relatively quickly. At least we hope that we that we get that problem.
Okay, so I take over again. So let's say why we hope that this case study matters for the Open edX community is because this project should showcase the Open edX immense potential for complex multi-brand higher education initiative. So basically, 3 points are important: the scalability and adaptability of the project. So how Open edX can serve as robust foundation for an entire online university ecosystem, so managing diversity programs. So we have the MOOCs, we have the micro-credential, we have the degrees. Thomas will explain each of these later on. So on exactly, on multiple institutional brands in terms of needs. Integration capability, so to have a system that is able to successfully support integration with external systems. We have a lot of external systems we have to integrate, including a very important part, which is the central ID provider and admission process. So, and this allow us, let's say, to support the real world application. So a really tangible example and significant public online higher education project using Open edX. So by sharing this project today, we want to inspire you, we want to inspire decision maker, developers, how versatile the Open edX platform is for learning journey. So the journey from the concept to the ecosystem we have in place now. So we want to show how we selected the right tool to create this case study, this project. Tom, let's go to the initial proof of concept, to the ideal infrastructure of the project.
So basically, when we started, that was the initial idea to have this university, this online university, started in 2023, somewhere in the beginning of the year. Both me and my former and now boss, so to say, still have been at the Hasso-Plattner Institute. We've been running our own MOOC platform there. And from there, we basically went on in January 2024 to fully concentrate on this new university and this new project. And from January 2024 till a couple of months later, when we offered our first open courses, we basically set up the whole thing on a staging platform, tested everything out, made sure that everything is working good enough to start with the first beta. We are from a lot of our background is in design thinking. So what we are doing often is what I like to call a punk rock approach: 1, 2, 3, 4, go, and then see how it works. So basically, fail often and early. That's one of the design thinking credos. Basically, just do it, and not like don't think about it for 2 years and then go ahead. Like just do it and see what works and see what doesn't work. And so we did that with this first beta in test mode, where we invited a couple of people, where we had that on the staging running, and then we went to the live platform in a very short time, and basically started with a couple of open courses there, a couple of courses that we produced quickly, and then from there we went on to the micro degrees and so on, so on, so on. We had, while we were running our own MOOC platform, we also were developing the software for this platform. We didn't just run the platform, we developed the platform. We did lots of research on that, so there's a couple of like 10, 20 PhD theses hidden in that tool that we developed, 20, 30 master theses, really a lot of research that went into that. We had a couple of steps in the process when we actually were thinking about switching from our own developed platform to Open edX, and for several reasons we didn't. So at some point, for example, when Open edX went open source, that was the first point. But at that point, we were just a little bit before finishing our own platform. We thought, oh, now we're that far, now we don't switch. If you would have done that like 2 months before, the world might look completely different, but didn't. So, and that were a couple of decisions, and basically we still always decided to go on. But at that point, the decision was to switch, particularly because of the of the community, and particularly also because there were providers that were helping us to do that, because we were not able, we couldn't, but basically just also for financial reasons, take over the whole, this huge development team that we had to develop our own platform. So that wouldn't have been a feasible thing to do, or a reasonable thing to do. So working with Stefania, with Abstract as a partner, that basically enabled us to do that really quickly and to do that switch quickly. Otherwise, I guess we would be there, I don't know, in 2 years or so, but not that fast. From this proof of concept, actually, we learned that many of the key concepts, of course, are identical. I mean, both are sort of LMS systems, so you have videos, you have quizzes, you have all that stuff. But some of the approaches were fundamentally different, and that was a learning process for us as well, as teachers, as people who are running a platform, operating a platform. That yeah, and what we also found out quickly is that we didn't want to run that on a local infrastructure. I mean, if you think about that, we had the machinery in place, but if you think about it, that you then need to have people who are taking care of that all of the time, like 24/7, and probably at least 2. You can imagine how much alone that is in personnel costs. So it is made sense to outsource that. Okay, so basically, as I said, we went on to get that platform fully functionally running. We started with a couple of open courses, and then we started with the first set of micro degrees. That was in October 2024. So this is the current set you can see running in, the list is longer, just didn't fit on the screen anymore. And that the upper part are our open courses. These are 2 microsites. I hope I got to. I'm always getting confused with the terminology: microsites, micro frontends, micro whatever. So, so basically, these are 2 different microsites. We have this, the upper part. These are our open courses. They are for free. Everybody can join. You just need to register. These are our micro degrees. They are not for free, but they are open for everybody, and you can just register and pay. They are also part of our study programs. So basically, whatever we have in our study programs, we are offering standalone as a micro degree. That is the basic idea. If that really works out in the end is something that we need to see. We already have received some feedback from industry, for example, that often many of those formats don't really fit for them. But that doesn't need to mean they don't fit for anybody, because one of the business models that we have in mind, for example, for those micro degrees is what we like to call a university as a service. Basically, if another university, for example, lacks a certain teacher, a certain subject, don't have that in their program, they basically can enroll their students with in our programs. And this is yeah, we're in a lot of talks about that and with a lot of partners, and I guess that is something that might really be going strong. For us, the big advantage for that is that we go there from a business to consumer to business model, which makes it a lot easier in terms of marketing, because then you don't have to yeah, get each student him or herself, but you just get a university and they send you 20 students. So that's a lot. That's the idea. And yeah, the overall ecosystem, that is something that I will be talking about in a minute. So just stick with us. Oh, that's still me. Okay, so basically, this, to be honest, these numbers I don't have them, the real ones anymore. So I approximated them, but it's about that. These are the numbers that we had when we were running our own platform, OpenHPI, Hasselblad Institute platform that we started in 2012. We claim to be the first MOOC platform in Europe. in September, I think. We started with about 20,000 users. Back then, that was super easy. You just published a course, somebody wrote it in the newspaper, and suddenly you had a lot of users. And we did the same in 2024 with our new MOOC platform, even though we were able to send out a news. On that platform, we had about, in 2023, when we left there, I would say 300,000 users. So basically, we sent a newsletter out to all of them, and we started with 1,200 on the new platform. So it isn't that easy anymore as it used to be. You just, put it out, and the users are there. These times, in my perspective, are over. So it is takes a lot more effort to bring the people to the new platform, or to start a new platform. We've been growing from those 1,200 to 2,900. That actually is not that bad from 2024 to 2025, and we hope that. I'm talking about the open courses here, not the paid courses. So paid courses, their numbers will be way smaller. So this is our estimation that we have, and that we hope to go to. We'll see if that works. Basically, growth. I've already been talking about that. Open source advantage. OpenHPI also was an open source platform, but it didn't have the community. So this is really a big aspect for us, to have this community, also being able to contribute to the community, not just to draw the benefits, but also to give something back. APIs, there is a lot of APIs available. We already could make a lot of use of those in integrating them with other platforms. We'll come to that in a second. And then, the flexibility of the front end, we've been talking about that. For my personal feeling, it's way too much flexibility. I would have preferred to have, you do it once and not do the same changes again and again and again and again and again for each view separately.
Could be more consistent.
Yeah.
We know. Let's say the community knows.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not telling you something new. I also saw a couple of people nodding, so I guess. Multi-brand, in that case, we don't have multiple universities. That also was something that we had in mind when we were starting, because we were also partners in a couple of European projects. Unfortunately, for reasons I don't really know, most of them actually decided to go for Moodle, which I really don't. I know why, because universities mostly run Moodle, and it's easier for them to convince their professors to do Moodle courses than others. Still, I think it's a pity that they did it. Still we have those different programs, the open courses, the micro degrees, the study programs that we need all to bring under this one roof. Also for the open courses, we have a couple of courses that are actually not ours. So there was a EU project, for example, that approached us. They had to do a course for their project, but then they hadn't the platform where to run it. So they were thinking about putting all the videos on YouTube. And then we've been talking and said, well, rather put it here. You can still put it on YouTube if you want, but here you can also have quizzes and all that stuff, so that it's a real course and not just a collection of videos. And we're totally open for that. In that case, it really was a win-win, because we needed to get some content. They needed a platform. What can go wrong? Stefania, you gave me all the slides.
You're so nice. You're taking over. I'm happy to do this, but let's say this is the diverse program that the UDS have created. So we have the German UDS and we have the German UDS Academy. So we have on the one side, let's say this student, this is more the formal part of the path. And so they have to go through the application process, of course. And additionally, let's say initially the academy is intended to be for student lifelong learners, is less formal, and there is a simple and open registration. Additionally, to the German UDS, we have then the study programs, so in terms of graduation, master, MBA, and for the open UDS courses, open courses, and the relation is that from the open courses you can go to the micro degrees, so you can combine both, coming from the initial situation and moving there, or the opposite, let's say.
Basically, the micro degrees are sort of the missing link between the two things. The one is open and free, the other one is closed and not free, and the micro degrees are open and not free. And you can basically stack those micro degrees to get to a master or MBA program in the end. Yeah.
So basically, this is the idea then to go to, at some point, also to doctorate. So the PhD is a little bit a long-term idea.
It's not super easy administrative process in Germany to get the allowance to provide PhDs. But,
I will speed up a little bit. We have 10 minutes to finish this. So basically, the two different brands groups is the one, let's say, with the academy. So we have we made there a deep integration, starting from full fabric, which is the client ID authentication for students and course management. Then we have also with Microsoft the single sign-on integration for student authentication. We added a proctoring software, which is called Small, for proctoring exam. We added the Yellow Ding, which is a communication and interaction tool for the students, and Turnitin additionally as an integration to detect and avoid plagiarism. So this is the academic side. The other side is the MOOC Hub. So we have created a kind of existing initial API idea and schema coming from the previous HPI project. And based on that, we focused to make it available for Open edX. And this was a very successful API because it's a collaborative effort to connect and standardize MOOCs over other university. In this case, we have partner, or you have partner in German and Austrian university. So the hub, for example, is I think now the website for this is moochhub.org. Open as well, are all open courses, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think at the moment we have around about 750 courses between all the other are listed there as a...
It's possible. It's about 5 partners that are operating that. Most of them are coming from the Austrian MOOC platform in the moment, also from my former employer, OpenHBI, in which where we developed basically this API format. And as you can see, it's the MOOC Hub was basically the initial. Probably you can't see it that well if I interpret your face right. The MOOC Hub was the original platform for which we developed that. But in Germany, at some point, a couple of other aggregators evolved. So that was Digital Campus in Bavaria. It's from the state government, Bavarian state government. And Phoenix, that is also from another German Schleswig, because completely in the south and completely in the north. And they basically used the same API. So for now in Germany and Austria, I would say it's sort of a de facto standard as a catalog API. There's also several others aggregators that are using this API.
Yeah, and also this national German project
Yeah,
is using.
which is, I don't know if someone from Germany is here, but I would say this is a complete disaster. But
In that sense, it's not related to open edX.
Yeah.
On the other side, we realize also here at the conference there is, in particular, Thomas was talking about the MOOC API and MOOC Hub. So is other university interested in. So is ongoing project that is not that is open, of course.
And it's open source, so this is available for download, the API format, so whoever's interested in using that.
That's extremely important to say. Okay, Thomas, then let's distinct categories and access level.
Yeah,
Think
and
about
I
that.
will.
We have
I will.
10
I
minutes.
will. Now you will learn how fast I can talk. No. Now, so basically, we have the lifelong learners and we have the actual students. In our case, most of the actual students actually are also not that young anymore, to be honest. So they are also rather in the late 20s to early 40s, I would say. As we said, the lifelong learners, they basically, all of them go to this. This is our campus management system, so this is not open edX. All of them go through that. Those basically just register and pay for the micro degrees. For the open courses, they go directly to the LMS. The students also have to go here, but they have to go to a proper university application process. So we need to check if they have a bachelor's, for example, if they want to do a master's, stuff like that. And then we offer both MBA and master's courses. And the interesting part is that in the end, they will be all together in the same class. So it's not just the same material that they are seeing. They are in the same cohort, in the same class. And we don't differentiate between them. So basically, everybody is in the same boat. They are also working together on that, which is, I think, a really good thing to have, because then you have, from the lifelong learner side, for example, really experienced people, older people who bring completely different perspectives into the class than maybe younger students who just have completed their bachelor's, for example, and go directly on to a master's. Yeah, that is a problem that we're facing, that the MBA courses only provide 4 ECTS, while the master's courses provide 5 ECTS. That is an issue that we have with our course setup. So in the course that I'm teaching, for example, I'm just telling the master students that they should be a bit understanding with the MBA students, because they won't put that much effort in the project work, for example. But there are different solutions which are differing from professor to professor, how to handle that, because the master students, of course, have an increased workload as well. I think this is basically this is the whole integration process for the single sign-on. So whenever a student registers on the process, they go directly to a payment provider. So this is full self-service, the whole thing. Automatically, once they have paid, they will an ID and account on our Microsoft system. I'm not responsible for Microsoft, so don't kill me for that. I would have used something else. They get a student number, they get a student ID. They go directly back to the campus management system, where they get this account. Then with their new student number and ID connected, an account is automatically created on the Open edX LMS system, and then they have the module select. So the course selection for the modules, that happens again on the campus management system, and then they are automatically enrolled in the LMS for the modules that they have to take. And there's a kind of quite complex logic behind which courses you can select for which study program, and because many of them are available for many of the programs, others are just available for one of the programs, so on. So this is why we're handling that, because there wasn't a feature for that in OpenEdX, at least not as far as we know.
So what is behind of OpenEdX. So it's basically, again, as you can see, OpenEdX at the core, but it's not in isolation. It's critical technical
Yeah.
on your side.
There you need a couple of clicks.
Yeah, exactly. That's the full clicks of it. So
Yeah.
it's up. And stay here briefly.
Yeah. So basically, this is the whole ecosystem that we're running. You can see the campus management system. That is this tool called Full Fabric that I've just been talking about. Then they get this M365 account. They have their Office applications that they can use with that account. We have a single sign-on to the Open edX instances or microsites that we're running. Of course, we have studio and staging and stuff like that only for admins. And then we run a couple of LTI tools which are connected to that. We have Vimeo as our video provider, which we prefer for lots of reasons over YouTube, because you have more control on the how people can access the videos there. And of course, we run a help desk, we have a podcast system, we have a website and all that stuff. So it's pretty complex system, and it's still growing. So there are a couple of things which we're currently thinking about, which are not on there yet.
Yes, as you can see, it's a really huge architecture integration path. So basically, OpenEdX is there, but you see around this OpenEdX solution, there has been a lot of stuff which has been separated, of course, only UDS integration side, but basically our roles was how we can bring some integration directly in OpenEdX as well. So infrastructure and design decision, let's say it was extremely important, let's say, to build on Kubernetes and NixOS. Specifically, we operate a Kubernetes cluster in Germany with the Flying Circus Cloud. Happy to have here a representative of our cloud support service who made the job with us extremely secure and scalable and anything else. So thank you again for you to be here today. So if you have a question about it, Björn will be here. So Flying Circus as a really high competent cloud provider in German. What it was important and a requirement for the project is GDPR compliant. And another requirement from the initial point was to be certified as a provider to make sure. NixOS was allowing us a declarative setup. Kubernetes, as I mentioned, let's say the most popular, but working well with OpenEdX choice in managing containerized application. Dedicated databases, so the intention also to keep MySQL, MongoDB, etc. separated to guarantee stability and performance, and Nginx to ingress. So running Nginx on its own virtual machine for ingress worked great. So we are simplifying traffic handling and SSL termination. So this was the infrastructure we selected. So in us, so our part was really to provide expert consultation on technology choice, guiding the client, guiding Thomas, the team in German's UDS through a complexity of a cloud architecture. Containerization, sorry for my English, and manage service, of course, to align long-term goals for multi-brand education. Then the architectural blueprinting was important, so we designed this resilience and flexible ecosystem. And then at the end, the second part of the project milestone was to optimize customize step by step the different integration that we saw before. So our team was responsible to go all these requirements organized in good sprints, I would say. So next, this was another part important in the project, which it means that also having a good partner, having a good client is important, but it's also a community behind of us. So we trust on community and collaboration, also handling with clients. So what I need to say here is that we recognize how is important, let's say, that the Open edX community, it has a vital role in solving, contributing, giving ideas how the Open edX will evolve. So, and at the same time, the German UDS was, from the initial point of the collaboration, interesting that we are able to bring back in this ecosystem also the knowledge we were collecting. We conducted students that applied, let's say, exactly, yes, those are the results. We interviewed students, so learners in TOM courses, asking them to install and work with an Open edX solution. And after that, we were able, for example, to understand the product process, product review process in the platform. And we started to give back to the product working group in Open edX the feedback about these students who started with this, let's say, it was an assessment in Thomas courses, and on the other side, behind the assessment, we have had the opportunity to give this information back to the world community.
Basically, the students had to. It was. I'm teaching a course on Python and Django development. In those study programs, and the students, in the end, had to work on a maintenance task, or were supposed to work on a maintenance task. We have to say. For Open edX. That was the task that they had. They had 4 weeks' time. In the first iteration where we did that, they spent 4 weeks on installing their local development environment, and basically wrote a huge report. Writing a lab report was a requirement, what I asked them to do. One of them wrote really more than 100 pages. This is way more than I expected. And and basically you did a couple of interviews with them, and they condensed that into a report, which then went back to the Open edX community as well.
Yes, and product working group, exactly. So what are the insights about the post-launch insight? So 1 year to go. So I think about the timeline, you know it better if you would like to take it over.
Yeah, I guess, but I guess we can also rather quickly step through that, because most of the steps I already have mentioned.
Correct.
So this is what happened until now. So what we are working towards to is basically have the second intake of students. Then in October, we hope a couple of more. Then now we have more than. Or we will have by then more than 25 micro-degree programs offered, which I think is not that bad for a really small university. Yeah, we are targeting like having about 1,000 regular students, because that is more or less our break even. So this is the number that we have to have at some point. We don't have to have them right now, because we have some finances that we can rely on, but at some point we need to have them, because otherwise we will go bankrupt. That's the basic thing. This is, I think, also something that we can go through rather quickly. This is a survey that we did with the students in the open courses in the micro-degree programs. And you can see the results basically are quite good. This is not this. What you see up there is are the questions. So it's a bit about the courses itself, the content that we asked for. Also how quizzes and assignments were helpful. Also how the platform was useful for them, how easy it was to navigate. And you can see basically on that scale on that Likert scale from 0 to 5, results were all somewhere in the 4 area, which is good enough, I would say. I mean, you always can be better, but good enough. But what you also can see is that there are slight, not huge, but slight differences between the different programs. So that is the total of all. Digital enlightenment, that these are open courses that are teacher-paced, instructor-paced. The prep courses are self-paced. They also have a different target audience, so it doesn't have to be the self-paced versus instructor-paced, which made the difference. It might also be, this is for the general public, this is basically targeted towards our future students, but open for everybody, so it doesn't have to be. And the micro degrees then are those actual courses, which are longer also, so they are 12 weeks, not just 2 weeks as the open courses that we're currently offering. So you can see there is a difference in the perception, depending on the course type that we're offering. I think that that is something that we will need to watch closely over the time. Those are just the initial numbers. These are way too small to make already really kind of like proper decisions on that. But we are doing these surveys each course. So we will increase the amount of numbers that we have, and then at some point we'll also be able to. Is that one? Okay. Yeah.
Let's try to wrap up very, very quickly our challenges and the next step. So let's try to be fast. We mentioned before, so micro front end was definitely a challenge to find out on the difference program and microsites how it will work as expected from the client side. Also on the analytics side, we use Aspect, which is a core now in Open edX. It's new, it's good. So we need to improve, we need to work on it. Happy to do this in the community, of course. This was a challenge from the authors. So for students as authors, similar. So when authors had to add content in the studio, it was a little bit looks differently from the studio to the LMS, so a little bit complying on this. And from the students' aspect is exactly what we mentioned about this also talk we have had at the eMOOCs on Monday, me and Thomas, explaining struggling, for example, to test an integration and installation configuration of an Open edX instances. So just very, very, very brief what is coming next. So next is, of course, offering AI for personalized learning path, content recommendation, adapted feedback. So we are working together to implementing AI-powered chatbooks and AI avatar, which is a nice project for instance student support. The next is already mentioned before, collaboration with other European universities that use Open edX platform, for example, sharing X blogs, sharing other open source modules, for example, and also working together with a European MOOC consortium. Analytics will always be a topic because data are extremely important to predict and to work with the insights for analyzing how project is going, our students are progressing in the learning path. So this will be always a decision. And connecting is extremely important, is the next step, connecting certification of the platform to the Europass standards. More microsite probably will come. It means in terms of executive education, hybrid and offline program, and college. So entrepreneurial and design thinking idea to this. So last but not least, what are the takeaways today? A strategic time planning is crucial. Flexibility and agility also between client and provider. So to go always with a good project plans, putting ideas together, analyze requirement, always in a good shape. Keeping an eye on costs, costs and prioritize key features, so milestones, define the good milestone. Use, this is not what I need to say, but partners on both sides, very respectful from all the sides, and also flying circles as extreme successful cloud hosting in Germany, I would say in Europe. Worldwide. Okay.
Galaxy-wide.
The galaxy is here with us. Growth expectation versus real growth. This is for us the key. So thank you very much. If you have any question, we are here.